and this is going to be our last video about the coastal habitat in Maine and the animals that we see there. And we're going to talk just kind of about a few of the favorites. So, the first thing we're going to cover are sharks. So this is a shark jaw. And of course, the thing I'm sure you guys are noticing are the teeth. This is probably what we think of the most when we think of shark. So the cool thing about sharks is they are continuously, so always, growing new teeth to replace old ones because they use their teeth all the time. And if it wasn't for their very sharp razor-like teeth, they would not be able to catch prey. They would not be able to eat. So very important. In fact, I'm going to show you guys the back of this. You can see where, so here are the teeth. Right, there's a front row. Here's the row that's coming in to replace them. And then through here you can see like 3 more rows developing. And these kind of continually push out to replace old teeth so they don't get worn down. Which is almost, actually kind of terrifying looking. Look at that. Right. So even though this might look really scary, there's no reason to be afraid of sharks. There are very few people who are killed by sharks. I think like 4 or 5 a year. More people get killed by coconuts per year. I think that's like a few hundred get killed by coconuts. So you have a greater chance of getting killed by a coconut than a shark. It's pretty cool. So sharks are another living fossil. So we talked about how horseshoe crabs, right, are living fossils because they've been around since before the dinosaurs, and their body, their adaptations really haven't changed much. The same is true for sharks. So they're very well adapted to finding and catching prey. So of course they have the teeth, which we just talked about. The other thing sharks have is they don't have bones like we do or like some fish do. They have cartilage instead. So the stuff at the tip of your nose or the top of your ears, the stuff, that's cartilage. Right? And that's an advantage for sharks because it's lighter weight than bones and it's also a lot more flexible. So that allows sharks the maneuverability to quickly make turns and move around and catch their prey. Another really cool thing that helps sharks catch their prey is they have something called electroreception, which means that they can pick up electric currents in the water. In fact, a lot of aquatic species, both marine species and freshwater species, can do this. So here's a shark, right? They have little spiracles. They're called little like dots, little holes in their nose area. It almost looks like they have like acne, like a bunch of blackheads. But they're electroreceptors basically. They're picking up on the electric currents in the water, which allows them to detect not just prey that's close by, but also the fine, small little movements in prey and react to them before they can even see them because they're sensing them electronically. So they have a receptor here, and they also have what's called lateral lines that move this way that collect this electric information. And so that allows the shark's body to respond even quicker. So very good at picking up prey and very, very quick to respond, which makes them excellent predators along with their teeth, obviously, and their strong ability to swim. The other cool thing I wanted to point out, last thing about the sharks, is they have something called counter shading. So if you notice, the bottom of the shark is white, the top is this dark gray, and not all sharks exhibit this, but quite a few. And that's to help them blend in. So think about it, if you are a fish, right, swimming kind of in the middle of the water, and you look up, you're going to see mostly the light shining down and being reflected off the water. So having this belly, this light belly, helps them camouflage in with that light for an animal that's looking up. If you're looking down on the shark, right, their dark back is going to blend in better with the darkness of the water as that light recedes and doesn't reach the bottom. So having this lateral camouflage where it's almost like a line that separates the top and the bottom, and the top's darker, the bottom's lighter, is one of the other cool things that helps them sneak up on their prey. So sharks, really an awesome animal. The other one, or I guess another one I wanted to talk about, are sea turtles. So here I have some sea turtle eggshells. All right. And if you watch the reptile videos, you'll know that all reptiles, including turtles, lay their eggs on land. Even sea turtles who spend their entire lives in the water, in the ocean, the females will eventually come up on land to lay their eggs. And their shell isn't like a chicken shell or a bird shell. It's not kind of the hard, crumbly, almost like crunchy shell. It's more leathery. It's softer. So the reason I want to talk about this is because we do get sea turtles in Maine who come up to nest. We get two main species, or I guess two common species. There's the leatherback sea turtle and the Kemp Ridley sea turtle. And both of those will come and lay eggs along our coast. And this is really important to point out because all species of sea turtles are endangered, every single species. And that's mostly due to the vulnerability of their eggs. So people will come and harvest their eggs. In some places, they're considered a delicacy to eat. And then in other areas where we have developed beaches, we've built hotels and restaurants and other things. We've disrupted a lot of their nesting sites. So a lot of one, they have less places to nest, and then two, the places that they do nest, a lot of them are easily disturbed. And then the other issue with the beach development is most of sea turtle hatchlings, they hatch at night and they go towards the brightest light. So normally in nature, the brightest light would be the moon and the sky reflecting off the water. So the reflection of the moon, which would point them to go into the direction of the ocean to safety. However, since we've built hotels and other things that have their lights on all night, a lot of the hatchlings actually go in the wrong direction, the opposite direction. And a lot of them don't make it to the ocean. So sea turtles are definitely suffering. So if you see one, it's really awesome. It's a really cool experience. I've seen a couple of sea turtles in the wild. They're really cool creatures, but leave them be and don't disturb their nests because they are very important. All right, I wanted to talk really quick about a Maine favorite, right? We can't talk about Maine coastal habitat and not talk about lobsters, right? So lobsters are a crustacean, like crabs. They have this outer exoskeleton, and they have this very muscular tail and claws, which is why the meat is so good. But if you guys have never seen a lobster in the wild, if you've just seen the ones they put on the dinner plate, you probably think that a lobster is red. And that's actually not true. Lobsters are more this kind of brown speckled color. They have a little bit of a reddish tinge around, right? But they mostly turn that bright red after they've been cooked. So the lobster industry is a big industry in Maine, of course. And there are people who they make their living off of lobster trapping, and the lobstering in Maine is actually very sustainable. So I think when we talked about the sea turtle eggs, I talked a little bit first about over harvesting, right? And when we talked about the horseshoe crabs, we also talked a little bit about over harvesting. For the lobster population in Maine, there's only so many that they're allowed to extract, and they have to be a certain size in order for them to be able to catch them and sell them on the market for eating. One of the things I learned, I went on a boat tour this summer. One of the things I learned is that one of the rules they have to follow are they can't catch breeding females. So a female who has eggs, she'll keep them underneath her tail right here. So if the lobster man was to pull this up and see that they're eggs, he would cut a little notch in her tail to show, hey, this is a breeding female. She has eggs, and then throw her back, so that even if someone else was to catch her later, and she didn't have her eggs anymore, they would see the little notch in the tail and know, okay, this is a breeding female. I can't take this one, and that helps the population regenerate and keep its numbers up, so that we have lobster for years to come. So, something really cool that Maine is doing, and doing very well. The last thing I wanted to share with you guys, it's another thing that Maine's doing well on, something called a puffin right here. So, Maine's rocky coast is excellent for shorebirds, for seabirds who need to come nest. So those rocky areas provide a place for birds to nest safely without very many predators. And one of the ones that comes to nest is the puffin. So Maine is actually the only place in the United States that you can see a puffin. There's a few islands off the coast of Maine where they'll come nest. And a long time ago, there used to be lots of puffins that would nest on those islands. And then overpopulation, overcrowding issues, people messing with their habitat kind of forced the puffins off. And there was a whole restoration project where people came and they got puffin hatchlings that hatched further up north, and they brought them there to the island. And puffins are really cool in that they always return back to the place that they were born in order to breed. So when those puffin hatchlings matured and left, and a few years later, they came back to the island to nest. And there are scientists who are monitoring this, and they've established a pretty good colony, and they come back every year. So if you go, you can take a boat tour in between June and July. It's a really cool thing to go see them. They're super beautiful birds and also very, very cute. So that's it for our segment on coastal habitat. Y'all have a good week. Wear your mask. Bye.